After God gave Israel the laws of clean and unclean animals, Leviticus 12 turns to another area of daily life, one that touches the beginning of human existence itself, childbirth. This short but profound chapter shows that even in the joy of new life, the principle of holiness still applies. Every part of human experience and birth, growth, and recovery was to be understood in the light of God's purity and redemption. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the Israelites. A woman who becomes pregnant and gives birth to a son will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days, just as she is unclean during her monthly period.
On the 8th day, the boy is to be circumcised.
After this, the woman was to remain in a state of purification for 33 more days, making a total of 40 days after the birth of a son. During this time, she could not touch anything holy or enter the sanctuary until her purification was complete. If she gave birth to a daughter, the time of purification was doubled: 2 weeks of ceremonial uncleanness and 66 days of purification, 80 days in total. To modern ears, these distinctions may sound puzzling or unfair, but in their context, they were not about moral impurity or inferiority. They were about symbolic separation from the flow of life and death. Childbirth, while beautiful, also involved the shedding of blood, a reminder that even the joy of life is mingled with the curse of sin that entered through Adam and Eve. The loss of blood and the physical weakness that followed made the mother temporarily unfit for participation in the holy sanctuary. This was not condemnation, but compassion, a time of rest, healing, and recovery granted by God Himself. After her purification period, the woman was to bring offerings to the priest at the entrance of the tent of meeting: a year-old lamb for a burnt offering, representing dedication and gratitude for new life, and a young pigeon or dove for a sin offering, symbolizing cleansing from impurity. The priest would offer them before the Lord to make atonement for her, and she would be pronounced clean. But God, in His mercy, made provision for those who could not afford a lamb. If she cannot afford a lamb, she is to bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, one for the burnt offering and the other for the sin offering. This small detail reveals the grace and accessibility of God's law. Forgiveness and fellowship with Him were never limited to the wealthy. His mercy was open to all. It was this very law that Mary, the mother of Jesus, fulfilled after His birth. In Luke 2:22-24, we read that she and Joseph brought 2 turtledoves to the temple in obedience to Leviticus 12, a quiet testimony that the Redeemer Himself was born under the law that He came to fulfill. How fitting that the one whose birth would bring cleansing for all humanity entered a world where even birth itself required purification. In Him, the defilement of sin is forever removed, not through ritual but through the power of His blood. Leviticus 12 teaches that life and holiness are inseparable. Every human birth is a miracle of God's design, but it also reminds us that we are all born into a fallen world and in need of redemption. From our very beginning, we need cleansing that only God can give. In Christ, that cleansing is complete. Through His perfect sacrifice, every believer, man or woman, rich or poor, stands purified, accepted, and welcomed into God's holy presence. Leviticus 12 reminds us that holiness is not about exclusion, it's about restoration. God invites His people not just to be made clean outwardly, but to be renewed inwardly by His grace. Next comes Leviticus 13, where we explore the laws concerning skin diseases and infections, showing how God uses even physical conditions to teach spiritual truths about purity, sin, and healing.